Hi Aljandro, my name is Daphne. I'm one of the essay correctors here at IELTSpodcast.com. Ellen's asked me to check your essay because she's travelling for a couple of days. I don't know your history on taking the exam. Maybe you can just drop me a line and telling me if you've done it before and when you're planning to take it. But let me just go through these essays with you and make a few comments. So firstly here, the structure. I'm a bit surprised by this structure. You want a 4-paragraph essay. So it's very simple to remember. You want 4 paragraphs on this one and 4 sections on this one. So you've written me a really intense paragraphs. I don't know where we're going on this. This needs organization. So here, if you look at the question, local governments are pushing companies to move from large cities to regional locations. What are the benefits and drawbacks? So it's really nice, this one, you do a bit of planning. Always do your planning before you start. So what are the benefits of moving companies away from the city, and what are the problems? And so before you even start, you're going to think, okay, what are the benefits and what might some of the issues be? So governments are trying to convince companies to move from big cities to towns. Well, it's not really towns, it's more like regional locations. So instead of big, you could go large, urban cities. So get adjectives in here as much as you possibly can to less inhabited locations. Or maybe we won't use less locations, less inhabited regions. Okay. Is it a 360? Now, please don't use questions in IELTS. It doesn't work. It's not a good strategy for academic writing. So no questions. And also, that's not what you're asked to talk about. You're asked what are the benefits and what are the drawbacks. So I would go with something like, well, there may be some clear benefits, and or then tell me what, such as cheaper rent and employment costs. Oops, sorry. Okay, there are some significant problems, including, and you're going to give me an idea what some of these problems might be. This comes from your planning. So the problems might be the infrastructure isn't so good because they don't have fast roads or don't have such good schools or whatever. So you don't need that, but you do need to have something like this essay. We'll discuss these key issues using examples from, and then you want to put some examples into your essay. So have another look at how you organize your intro. The main benefit of this relocation policy, so give me a bit more here, is that moving to regional locations, is that in moving here to regional locations, companies reduce the cost of their infrastructure, okay, including, so X, Y, Z. What do you mean by that? What infrastructure are you talking about? This makes them obtain more profits. Well, we don't know that, so you need to be more tentative. This could enable them to. So use this language with the sort of modal verbs. This could enable them to obtain more profits, which could be invested in expansion. Okay, good. Lovely. So usually 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually 3 things is enough, otherwise it looks a bit like a list, but that's great. Furthermore, moving to regional locations is synonymous with less fierce competition. So is often, not always, but is often synonymous. So this kind of language is very useful here. With less fierce competition, which could give, or is going to, we don't know it for definitely, could or might give companies more chances to survive and be able to meet the demands of their customers. Good. So for example, recent reports in papers from wherever you live have suggested that. And then build in a little example, the benefits. Companies have been more profitable if they've moved. And then drawbacks are clear. This is a little bit too informal, the start of this. So you need to signal to me that you're changing direction. So however, It has been noted that by moving or relocating, you could change that verb there, to smaller locations. Sorry, my mistake there, you don't need that. It's going to require workers to have to commute longer distances, good, or move with their families to these places. This could make companies lose some important workers, yeah, who don't want to move, and have to make more effort to look for somebody new, okay, new employees. Let's use the word connected to business and work. Besides, it's possible they have less visibility to the population. What does that mean? So they you mean companies, but be careful here, because the last people you've talked about are the workers. So that's quite confusing who you mean by they. Have less visibility, because, join that together, in the large cities their profile is high, but in regional locations to improve their marketing campaigns, they do not want to decrease their popularity at any consequence. Their business profile, recognition, something like that. Just add in a few more words so that I understand. But there's no conclusion here. So where's your conclusion? So in conclusion, you need to draw back these points that you've made. You've made some great points here. I like your writing. You just need to develop it more. Some of these ideas, just push them a little bit further, so that you're really explaining. This will help you score on the task achievement. But you do need a conclusion. This is really a big problem on the structure. So conclusion, you wrap up your arguments. Yeah. Go back to some of your reasons and explain that, yes, it's a good idea, but on the other hand, there are some issues to do with the profile of the business or awareness of the business, and possibly for recruitment of staff, something like that. So you're getting there on that, but that needs a little bit of attention. So the task one, what we really want here on these task ones is two things. The passive, so the T isn't making itself, someone else is doing it. So you want passive, a passive voice, and we need the stages in a process. So you need these, firstly, secondly, the next step, after that, those sort of things. Check out the web pages. There's a lot on the website on all this. Okay. So flowchart shows the stages of production in different types of tea. Every kind of tea comes from fresh leaves, and they have the very first step in common, which is sorting and cleaning. From there, to obtain white tea, comma, which is the simplest tea to produce as it only has two steps, tea makers have to steam and dry the leaves. Okay, so here you could put the leaves are initially steamed, then dried, or before being dried. So what I'm adding in is grammar. So here we've got passive, and then we've got participle, passive there. So this is what you're looking at. Rather than tea makers, get it into the passive tense. I want a break here. Green oolong and black teas have different procedure from white tea. Okay, so you could have a little something like this. After being withered. Again, lovely grammar there. The process differs, or the stages and the process differ. So make sure you're building in these beautiful grammar structures as much as you possibly can. So the leaves are fired, rolled, shaped. Oolong has the longest process of all. Okay, another section maybe. After the withering, good. The leaves are rolled. So you can rework this all into the passive tense. Black tea. The first step is rolling. Yeah. The final step is drying. Scented tea. Okay. So I need an overall sentence. You're missing that. This is to do with the gaining all the marks you can for the structure and the task achievement. Okay. Overall, the process includes between 5 and 9 stages, so not roughly. The shortest is for the production of X, and the longest is for Y sorts of T. Yeah, so you've got to have that overall sentence in there, and then I want 4 sections altogether. So you could have 1 section, 2, 3, 4, but this is looking a bit too long. 272. I mean, read the instructions here. The brief is 150 words. So I would suggest if you're going for a relatively high band score, you need to do 170 words. So I'd really have another look at that and just check out how to do that. I'll send you a link on those in my response. But well done, good work.